Okay, so the key thing about Siddhasana, right? It basically directs the energy from the lower psychic centers, the lower chakras, upward through the spine, stimulating the brain and calming the entire nervous system, right? So I'll explain the male version first, right? So for men, it's called Siddhasana. And what you do is you take your right heel, okay? Again, you press it just below the genitals, right? So just below the genitals, there's a place called the perineum, before the anus, right? So you press it and you can contract the muscles there, right? That's right where the Muladhara chakra is on men. So you contract the muscles there at the perineum a bit, and you press your heel in that area to hold that contraction, right? Okay. And then then the other foot comes on top. So the other heel should be on top of this heel, right? Not directly on top of it, but like above it. So now it depends how your foot bends, right? So for some men, right? I've seen, not for me actually, but for some men, their foot bends in such a way that there's a gap created between their heels, right? So the actual Siddhasana is you should actually put your genitals between the gap of your heels, right? And the upper heel should press against the pubic bone, right? So the other chakra, so Muladhara chakra is at the perineum, right? Swadhisthana chakra is at the tailbone, right? And across from the tailbone of the pubic bone is the reflection point, the Swadhisthana reflection point, trigger point, whatever you want to call it, right? And basically that heel should press above the genitals at the pubic bone for men, right? Ideally, right? In my case, my foot doesn't bend that way. So my foot, this heel actually sits in front of my genitals when I practice. And again, the most important thing though is in fact to have the first heel at the perineum for the Muladhara chakra. The Muladhara chakra is where the Kundalini is. And that's actually the most important chakra that has to be awakened in fact, right? And for passing the spiritual energy, releasing it and sending it up the spine to the brain as described over there. So that's basically it, right? Again, you straighten your spine, right? Once you have your heels in position, pressing against your body, just straighten your back, your neck, you relax, you have your hands on your knees, right? And we'll learn mudras a little later on, right? And usually in a hand mudra of some sort. And you use this posture for the breathing practices and the meditation practices. Again, like I said, 18 of the 20 Kriya Yoga practices are done in Siddhasana. For women, it's very similar, right? So like I said before, right? So for women, the Muladhara chakra is in the cervix, right? So you understand female anatomy, there's the vagina, and then the cervix, and then the uterus, or the womb, right? So just after the vagina, and then the uterus is, the cervix, right in that region is where the Muladhara chakra is. So again, what you want to do is you want to contract the muscles of the, so for men they contract the muscle of the perineum, women have to contract the muscles of the vagina and the cervix, right, to try to awaken the Muladhara chakra, right? So again, so for women, again, there's two possibilities. Again, you have to experiment which one you prefer, right? So again, to assist with the contraction of the muscles of the vagina, you can either press the heel on the front of the vagina, or you can actually push the heel inside the vagina, right? Depending on what makes it more easier for you to hold the contraction of the vaginal muscles, right? The other heel, so the other thing for awakening the Swadhisthana reflection point at the pubic bone, you contract the urinary muscles, right? So like when you're urinating and you hold your urination, you contract the urinary muscles, right? So men is the same thing, you contract the urinary muscles, and women is the same thing. Except women, the urinary muscles is also tightly coupled with the clitoris and those muscles. So you actually press the other heel against the the clitoris and the urinary area, right, for contracting those muscles, right? And that'll help awaken the Swadhisthana reflection point. Okay, so that's where the two heels go. Otherwise, it's the same thing. Back straight, hands on the knees, straight, and relax. And you do your breathing and your meditation. All right?